His Majesty and the Albanian President agreed to enhance ties in economic, tourism and other fields and discuss regional issues. The Education Minister says the new school curricula seeks to promote and instill Islamic values of moderation and tolerance. And a UN expert says a deadly attack on an aid convoy in Syria was an airstrike. Good evening and welcome to a new edition of the news. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty Queen Rania received at Al-Husseiniya Palace Albanian President Bujar Nishani and his wife, who are on a 3-day visit. Welcoming President Nishani on his first visit to Jordan, King Abdullah stressed the need to build on their talks to further enhance economic, trade and cultural ties between the two countries. Here's more.
The conflicts in the Middle East and bilateral ties figured high on talks His Majesty King Abdullah had with the Albanian president. The leaders dealt with ways to enhance cooperation in the tourism, agricultural and IT sectors and to benefit from trained and qualified Jordanian human resources to develop Albanian sectors as well as the kingdom's expertise in computerizing the health sector. The discussion also focused on developments in the Middle East, efforts to stabilize the region, in addition to the role the two countries could play to address regional and world crises to enhance global peace and security. The two sides also agreed on the need to counter terrorism and terror organizations within a holistic approach by the international community. Another focus was expanding cooperation among Islamic states to serve Islamic issues, clarify the true image of Islam, promote the Islamic values of tolerance and moderation, and reject all forms of terrorism and extremism. Syria also figured high on the talks, with the leaders affirming the importance of a political solution to the Syrian crisis that puts an end to the suffering of the Syrian people and preserve regional security and stability. During the talks, which continued over a lunch banquet hosted by the king in honor of the Albanian president, President Nishani said his visit is part of the two countries' quest to bolster ties in various fields. Earlier, King Abdullah and Queen Rania led an official welcoming ceremony for the Albanian president and his wife upon their arrival at Al-Husseiniya Palace. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki also met the Albanian president and said Jordan is keen to forge closer economic cooperation with the Balkan nation, stressing the need to sign joint agreements to serve their common interests. Al-Mulki also spoke about a number of Middle East issues, including the Palestinian cause and the ongoing crisis in Syria. On a visit to the Senate, the Albanian leader met its president Faisal al-Fayez, who gave a briefing on Jordan's reform process and the current situation in the region. Fayez pointed to the economic challenges resulting from the influx of Syrian refugees into the kingdom. The Senate president said Jordan needed economic aid in order to continue its humanitarian role and to bring about peace in the region and confront extremism. The Albanian president visited King Hussein Business Park and had a first-hand look on the services it provides and its future plans. The Albanian president's wife, Odita Nishani, also paid a visit to the Children's Museum and the Jordan River Foundation's showroom, where she toured the facilities and viewed the items on display. Hala Dababne for the news at 10.
Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki thanked Germany for aid provided to Jordan, including a recent €273 million aid package to help the kingdom respond to the Syrian refugee crisis. Mulki also told German Federal Minister for Economic Cooperation and Development, Gerhard Müller, that Jordan is calling on the international community to honor its obligations and pledges made to it at the London Donor Conference. He said Germany, a member of the G7, could help in that regard. Mulki also said Jordan looks to take advantage of Germany's advanced expertise in vocational training and technical assistance in order to secure the necessary funding to establish a specialized vocational center. He spoke about economic challenges Jordan is facing, especially pressures pressures posed by the Syrian refugee crisis on vital sectors like education, health and water. The German minister pledged his country will continue to stand by Jordan to address the repercussions of the Syrian crisis. Deputy Premier and Education Minister Mohammed Nebat said the new school curricula is a qualitative step in the national education system. Referring to a huge campaign against updating school curricula, he stressed the new textbooks are intended to promote true Islamic and humanitarian values and instill them in the students. There is no single content or text that contradicts Islamic principles, he contended. The minister told the press conference the new textbooks were prepared by elite Jordanian educators and teachers without foreign funding or interference. He also said a key focus of the curricula is to promote the theme of moderation, tolerance, acceptance of the other, dialogue and respect of women and humanity, among others. State Minister for Media Affairs Mohammed Al-Momani told reporters that the new curricula seeks to immunize students against extremism and bigotry in the midst of a volatile region. Public Security Department said police arrested some social media users for inciting hate speech and sectarianism. The PSD Cybercrime Unit said it had detected the internet users who committed acts that are strange to our traditions, culture and religion. It said legal and administrative measures had been taken against them. Last week, police said they will continue to crack down on individuals using social media to foment sectarianism and hate speech. Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, Major General Mahmoud Frehat, welcomed Dutch Ambassador Paul van der Ysel. They discussed ways to cement cooperation between the armies of the two countries. France's foreign minister will travel to Russia and the United States in the next 2 days to convince both sides to adopt a UN Security Council resolution to impose a ceasefire in Syria. The foreign ministry said the tip is in the framework of French effort to get a resolution adopted at the UN Security Council, opening the path for ceasefire in Aleppo. Syrian forces backed by Russian airstrikes continued an offensive in Aleppo. A UN expert, meanwhile, said analysis of satellite imagery of a deadly attack on an aid convoy in Syria last month showed it was an airstrike. Some 20 people were killed in the attack on the UN and Syrian Arab Red Crescent convoy near Aleppo, which destroyed 18 of 31 trucks, a warehouse and a clinic. The United States blamed 2 Russian warplanes, which it said were in the skies above the area at the time of the incident. Moscow denies the charge.
With our analysis, we determined it was an airstrike, and I think multiple other sources have said that as well. So a giant crater on the ground is almost certainly an airdrop munition. Then things like rockets will leave, they'll often occur in a row, whereas artillery or mortars will just kind of have a different pattern and signature to what you see.
At least 20 Sunni tribal fighters were killed in an airstrike south of Mosul. Iraqi police say they were mistaken for Daesh militants. It was not known whether the aircraft that carried out the attack belonged to the Iraqi Air Force or the US-led coalition. A spokesman for the coalition in Baghdad couldn't confirm if it had planes in the air at the time of the attack, which occurred near Qayyara. Qayyara is located 60 kilometers south of Mosul, the Daesh stronghold in northern Iraq. Israeli aircraft attacked Palestinian targets in the Gaza Strip, wounding at least 1 person. A rocket earlier fired from the besieged enclave hit the Israeli border town of Sderot, which caused no casualties. Witnesses said 3 training camps and a security complex of the Hamas group were targeted in the airstrikes, and a passerby was hurt. Hamas has observed a de facto ceasefire with Israel since 2014, but smaller groups in the Gaza Strip occasionally fire rockets across the border. Israeli tank shells also struck a Hamas observation post near the northern Gaza town of Beit Hanun. Local residents said there were no casualties. U.S. Republican vice presidential nominee Mike Pence condemned Russian President Vladimir Putin's actions in Syria. Pence took a harder line than Donald Trump at a contentious debate with Democratic rival Tim Kaine. The encounter between Pence and Kaine was the only such debate between the vice presidential contenders before the November 8th election, and the two spent most of their time attacking each other's running mates. For more than 90 minutes, either Pence or Kaine appeared to deliver a knockout punch. More in this report.
In the immediate aftermath of the U.S. vice presidential debate, campaign chiefs on both sides of the political fence were claiming victory.
Mike Pence simply couldn't explain or defend what Donald Trump has said on the campaign trail and the hateful and divisive kind of campaign that he's run.
I think it was a very, very rough night for Tim Kaine and the Hillary Clinton ticket, and a really great night for Mike Pence and our ticket.
Lawmakers were equally divided on the outcome of the one and only clash between Mike Pence and Tim Kaine.
Pence would not defend Trump's statements and just acted like Trump didn't say those things.
Tim Kaine was obsessed by it tonight. He was literally obsessed with Donald Trump's taxes.
A CNN ORC snap poll gave Pence 48% support against his rivals 42%. The second debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump is due to take place on Sunday in St. Louis.
Hurricane Matthew, the fiercest Caribbean storm in almost a decade, powered towards the Bahamas and Florida. It earlier battered Haiti and Cuba with torrential rains and killed at least 10 people. Hundreds of thousands of people were evacuated from the storm, which caused severe flooding and killed 4 people in the Dominican Republic and at least 6 in Haiti. It was difficult to assess the severity of the impact on Haiti because the storm knocked out communications in many of the worst affected areas, including the main bridge that links much of the country to the Southwest Peninsula. South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley declared a state of emergency and ordered the evacuation of more than 1 million people. Tropical storms or hurricane condition could affect parts of Georgia, South Carolina and North Carolina later this week, even if the center of Matthew remained offshore. The hurricane was a Category 4 hurricane, but it was downgraded to Category 3. Scientists from France, Scotland and the Netherlands have won this year's Nobel Chemistry Prize. The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences recognized their work on molecular machines that may lead to developments like new materials, sensors and energy storage systems. Here's more.
The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences.
Jean-Pierre Sauvage, Sir James Fraser Stoddart and Bernard Elferinga were awarded the Nobel Chemistry Prize for developing molecular machines that could one day be used to fight cancer by delivering drugs to diseased cells inside the body.
For the design and synthesis of molecular machines.
Fraser Stoddart at Northwestern University in Chicago says he's thrilled to be one of the winners.
Because of my strong support that I've had from a large number of young scientists over the best part now of 45 years.
Bernard Feringa spoke by phone from the Netherlands.
I don't know what to say, and I'm a bit shocked, because it was such a great surprise. And then my second remark was I'm so honored, and I'm also emotional.
The Nobel Chemistry Committee says molecular machinery is now as exciting as the electric motor was in the 1830s, and that the sky's the limit for their future discoveries.
World number 2 Andy Murray crushed Russia's Andrei Kuznetsov 6-2, 6-1 to reach the China Open quarterfinals in Beijing. The 29-year-old Murray won 81% of first serve points, and Kuznetsov made a string of unforced errors to hand the Britain's victory in 1 hour and 16 minutes. Murray will meet his 21-year-old compatriot Kyle Edmund, who upset Spanish world number 18 Roberto Bautista Agut 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 in the last 8 on Friday. A gradual intangible drop in temperature is forecast for tomorrow, with autumn conditions prevailing across many of the regions of the kingdom tonight. Temperatures will be around in average at this time of the year with northwesterly moderate winds. Relatively hot conditions are forecast for the Jordan Valley and the Dead Sea. And the Gulf of Aqaba, fair, humid and cool later tonight with northwesterly light to moderate winds and calm seas. Next are the lows and highs for tonight and tomorrow. And to the news, here's a recap of our top stories. His Majesty and the Albanian President agreed to enhance ties in economic, tourism and other fields and discuss regional issues. The Education Minister says the new school curricula seeks to promote and instill Islamic values of moderation and tolerance. And a UN expert says a deadly attack on an aid convoy in Syria was an airstrike. And with this we come to an end. I'm Farah Ajlouni. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.